welcome back to the Pennant Podcast. This is your co-host. Oops, caught myself there. Pen and Pants,
Whoa,
and always joining me is my co-host Schmeddy
it's
Schmedward
me. Woo.
Schlemmy.
What's up?
And today's topic, we have something interesting. It's kind of like a dual topic. It's what Eddie wants to talk about, and kind of like what I want to talk about, pretty much. Um, so we're gonna be talking about um remakes of games and if they're worth it, and also Counter Strike 2, or is it CS:GO 2? What is it called?
It's Counter-Strike 2.
Counter Strike 2. So that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll get into that. Which one do you want to do first? We didn't decide that actually.
Um, the Counter-Strike will go pretty fast because there's only like three things to talk about. Um, but it's kind of a remake. So basically, okay, if anyone doesn't know, Counter-Strike 2 got announced like 3 days ago or something, and it was like a huge deal because everyone's been waiting for this forever. And is it a sequel? No. Is it a remaster? No. Is it a remake? Kinda. Basically they just ported CS:GO to Source 2. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like an upgrade or something. It's free, which is awesome. If you have Counter-Strike, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, um, but basically, like with the engine transfer, like there were a lot of upgrades and things look better visually, and there's cool physics, and everybody is super excited. And I'm really excited because I love watching competitive Counter-Strike. I don't really play it. I did play it pretty religiously for a little while, but not anymore. So I just watch it competitively if I'm in the mood. And I'm really excited to see how these changes will affect the competitive scene specifically. So I will kind of go onto the website here and just show off everything. Um, can you see it? I think so, right?
Yep. 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 We're good.
Okay.
Audience can see
All
it.
right. Yep. So yeah, it's in limited test right now, so like only certain people based on I think the criteria was um if you have like a certain Steam account standing, number of hours in Counter-Strike, there's like a bunch of different
Mm-hmm.
like things that go into it. Um but yeah, limited test, so like mostly pro players and like Counter-Strike YouTubers and people that have a lot of hours logged on their Steam account have the test right now. Um, so yeah, basically, let's go into this. So next era of Counter-Strike begins this summer. So it's launching, I think, I don't know if it even has a date, but we know that it's summertime. CSGO 2 or Counter-Strike 2 arrives this summer as a free upgrade to CSGO, so you get it for free.
Oh.
And right now, it's just a limited test, and here's some of the cool features. So if you look at this video, this is definitely like the coolest thing ever.
In a Counter-Strike match,
Um,
information can mean the difference between
but
success or failure.
essentially, they can't
As
hear
a
it, can they?
result,
No,
smoke
they
grenades
can.
have become a
If you
Oh,
cornerstone
they
mute,
of team
can.
if you
tactics.
mute the video, they won't
In
hear
Counter-Strike
it.
2's new
Okay.
game engine, we've evolved
We'll
smoke
just kind of
from
pause
grenades
like on the
that
important
matter.
bits. So like the smoke looks really pretty, which is
Smoke
fun.
grenades now create volumetric 3D
Um,
objects that live in the world.
Oh.
Now, not only do all players see the same smoke regardless of position, but the smoke can interact with the environment
this
in
is the cool bit.
interesting ways.
So
Interesting.
it kind
Reacts
of
to
grows
light,
around objects, which is new,
grows to fill spaces
and it
naturally.
fills stuff.
This means that
So
the
What?
that
smoke
adds a lot
cloud
of
can be pushed and
competitive.
carved by
And
bullets
also you can
and
shoot through
grenades.
stuff, and you can also like
In
blow out
Counter-Strike
smokes
2,
with grenades
smoke
and
grenades
shit.
provide even more tactical
So
opportunities. They're just going to look and play
yeah,
better.
it's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah, the smoke
Whoa.
interacts with the environment, and you see it in these little clips here.
Uh huh.
So like the grenade blows it away. You can shoot through it and see. Like that's a whole new level of like tactical play that you add with that feature, which I think is awesome. It fills around the objects, which is cool. So it's like, not the most advanced, crazy video game engine technology ever, but it is cool. It is really cool. So, yeah, definitely a cool feature there. It has like the lighting reaction, so like gets shadows on it and shit, which is pretty cool. Um, Tick rate, I can't really go into that because I don't know that much about it, but I'll kind of do it like the best of my knowledge. Or no, there's a little blip here. So, um, is basically like there's a clock in the game where every unit, which is every time tick passes, an action can be like input into the code. So like if you shoot, um, the shot will register on the next tick, which is like the in-game clock. So the problem with tick, if it's not precise enough, is say you in between ticks, there's a delay. So if you shoot, the firing will not register until the next tick. So that can lead to some questionable hit boxes and like, oh, I totally should have hit that guy. And that doesn't really matter at the level, but at the really high pro levels where the reaction times are like super, super important and they're super, super fast, that can really make a huge difference. So basically, like, they're trying to make it more responsive with the new engine.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of an added feature that I think is going to be good for the pro play. So moving on, and then these some of the map changes. Kind of show these. Turn that down so I don't blow my ears out.
With over 20 years of history, maps are a fundamental pillar of Counter-Strike. And in Counter-Strike 2, maps are getting a new look. But don't worry, you can still bring along your countless hours honing strategies and exploiting every corner and crevice. We took 3 approaches to improving maps while retaining their rich legacy. First, there are touchstone maps. Classic maps with solid foundations that players can use to evaluate gameplay changes from CSGO to Counter-Strike 2. These have improvements to lighting and character read, but otherwise haven't been changed.
So I'll point something out with that room. You see the... Oh, it's not going to let me pause it. But if you go back,
to Counter-Strike 2.
if you look at the floor in this
These
room
have
here,
improvements to lighting and
there's
character read,
some
but otherwise haven't
cool
been changed.
reflection-y shit.
Oh, ray tracing.
Which,
Next, we
yeah.
have upgrades. These are maps that use new
Same with
Source
Nuke
2
here.
lighting,
Nice
including a visually
reflections.
based
Really
rendering system
impressive
that
lighting
produces
changes.
realistic materials,
For
lighting,
for
and
me
reflections.
playing these maps for a long time, like
And
I've seen them
finally,
go through a lot of
overalls.
changes, and
The oldest maps have
these
been
lighting
fully
changes
rebuilt
are
from the
really
ground up,
impressive. Like
leveraging
they
all
look
of the
really
Source
cool.
2 tools and rendering features. These tools will be available for community map makers to make it easier to build, experiment, and iterate. Upgrades to lighting, player read, and materials in Counter-Strike 2. Even the familiar will feel brand new.
Yeah. So that's the bit on maps. So a lot of lighting improvements mostly. Just makes things look a little bit prettier.
Yeah,
So
it does look way
this
bigger.
slider is pretty cool. So this is overpass in Counter-Strike CSGO. This is what it looks like now. So, it looks good, but mind you, CSGO came out in 2012, so it's a little dated. Obviously, they've upgraded it quite a bit, but so this is what we're working with now. So things look kind of jagged. The lighting looks a little bit weird, like it's not super natural, but when you move into CS2, everything looks a lot more like real.
Dang.
Yeah. So the textures are cooler, the shadows are way more uh yeah. It looks a lot nicer. Then we'll look at some other. So CS:GO, really dark, kind of flat looking. And go to CS2, super dynamic lighting. Looks a little bit more
That's way
real.
different, yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. So this is bathrooms and overpass. It says restroom here. People call it bathrooms though. And then you get some reflections on the floor. Get some nice lighting from the fluorescence here. Yeah. And then bomb site A. Dark, shabby, looks kind of crunchy into here. Really nice tree detail. Yeah, super nice. And then we'll look at Nuke. Like, this is the A-bomb and Nuke. Pretty shabby. Super nice lighting. Yeah. Dust. Let's get a better picture than this one. CT spawn. Yeah, so dark.
Very dark.
Shadows look kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then we go to this. Yeah. much more
Ooh.
impressive lighting. Doors to that. Lighting looks way better. Look at the change in the door.
Yeah,
Watch
holy
this.
crap.
Ready?
Yeah.
Look at
Ooh.
that. So, yeah. Mapping is going to be easier, which is super important for Counter-Strike because most every pro CS map is community made, which is
Yeah.
cool. Skins, the weapons all got redone. They look really shiny, and all the skins are getting ported. So, like, all the people with their $30,000 Counter-Strike Steam inventories are going to be okay.
Oh.
So, but there is an interesting thing about the skins is that certain skins on the market are like going up really high in price right now because the new engine will make certain ones look shinier. So what
Ooh.
used to look less impressive might look a lot more interesting on the new engine. So there's certain skins that are going up in price because of that, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, some video effects stuff with liquid and blood splatter. You notice like with the blood, it takes a second to hit the ground.
Yeah.
The blood looks really, really detailed. Like,
Oh my
and it
god.
kind of it's like legit like liquid physics and shit. So watch the blood as it comes off the guy and then it hits the ground.
Oh
I always
yeah, it's
think
a
that's
delay.
crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This one's cool. The Molotovs have dynamic liquid physics. So if you look in there, it would show just the
Yeah, I
bottle.
saw the water like moving.
Yeah. That's something that they built in Half-Life Alyx. There were like liquor bottles you could shake around and shit. So that was cool. But yeah, the liquid physics in
Oh
there are
yeah,
pretty,
look at that. Wow.
yeah. Some UI stuff that, that's not super important. Audio, we can't really display that, when we're talking about it, but those are the main changes. It's just a lot of like things that are kind of expected in modern games, but because, Counter-Strike has been caught in the Source era for so long, like
Yeah.
it just hasn't come yet. But what we all knew was going to happen is happening now, so that's good.
Will it be like diving in, like not to like seriously play, but like kind of play a couple
Oh, I'll
matches?
try it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to try it. Yeah,
All right.
but I'm probably gonna have to wait till summer because there's no way I have the account standing for them to care
Oh yeah, you're gonna
about
have to
me
wait till
getting the
actually
limited test.
releases. It's crazy. Like they just announced it and it's coming out in the summer.
Yeah, yeah,
They're sitting on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's a textbook Valve move is to fucking sit on something for 15 years and then finally release it.
Oh, it's
So
ready now. Let's go.
it is ready now. So yeah, that's a cool little piece of news. I was pretty excited to see that. So
Yeah,
hell
I was
yeah.
like, wow. To think they would like move on from CS:GO. Like
Yeah,
I didn't think they would do that. Like it makes so much money.
yeah,
It's a lot of money
yeah.
involved.
Yeah, I think that's why they went more with like the upgrade route rather than
Mm-hmm.
like this is a new game because it's really not. Like
Yeah.
all the maps are the same. There's going to be new maps, but the game is the same.
Yeah.
It's just like more intelligent. The biggest change is going to be with that smoke stuff. Um, that adds like for because you haven't really played it before, have you?
I dabbled in a little bit.
You
Smoke.
dabbled.
Yeah, I dabbled in a little bit of
Um,
CS:GO. Not a lot.
But with like smokes are like really important in the game.
Mm-hmm.
With that, with them being dynamic in terms of like filling up space and also you being able to shoot through them and disperse them with a regular grenade, that's gonna change the game. Like it's gonna be fucking crazy. Like it's gonna be such a massive change. The strategy of the game is
Yeah.
gonna completely flip on its head. It's gonna be
So will
crazy.
they be like discontinuing CS:GO to pave way for CS2?
Well, it's literally just like an upgrade. So if you,
So like,
I don't know. I don't know really why you would stay with CS:GO, honestly.
it is a separate game. Like you'll have to install
Yeah, yeah,
CS2, and then like you'll still have CS:GO like on.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But basic every resource is gonna go away from CS:GO, just like it did with Source and 1.6. Like, there was a time. So like the first iteration of Counter Strike is called Counter Strike 1.6. That was like the original release.
Yeah.
Um, And then, after that game ran its course, they ported it to Source. So there was still a loyal fan base for 1.6, but a lot of people moved to Source. And then Counter-Strike Source, the same thing happened. They made Counter-Strike Go, Global Offensive. And then Source and 1.6 still today have a very loyal fan base because a lot of people think that there are certain things about those earlier games that are a lot better, which, like I don't know, but there are valid points because I've, done a lot of learning about this franchise's history.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I'm assuming it's going to be the same deal. Like, there's going to be some very loyal Go fans that don't go to 2. And yeah. Because in 2010, 2011, when CSGO released, even some pros didn't switch. So, like, there was
Wow.
a pro scene actively in Source and the new game, and there were still people playing pro in 1.6. So, yeah,
Damn.
it's an interesting history. I've learned quite a bit about the history of Counter-Strike, and I love it. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, check that out this summer. Whenever it releases before like August 31st. I don't know when summer ends technically.
Yeah, sometime. I'm sure it'll be like peak summer, like early June or something.
Mm, that's really close though. I mean,
Yeah,
that's not even it's less than 3 months. It's less than
right.
it's like we'll see. We'll see what they do. But
Yeah.
what do you even we skipped right to CS2. We didn't even talk about like how you
Oh
doing.
yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Um, let's see. School, work, uh, put in my application for my promotion,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's fun.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, doing work, doing school. Got a record player. That's
Sick.
cool. Buying records.
Oh
Shout
yeah,
out Paramore.
Paramore.
Yes,
My
sir.
girlfriend loves Paramore.
They're great. Um, I'll show after the stream. I'll have you take a picture of the inside. There's like some cool pictures of them from like 2005 in there.
Ooh.
Um, but yeah. So been vinyling. Uh, what else? Got that mirror behind me over there. That's cool. That's about all I've been doing, just buying shit with my tax return.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think that's it. What about you? What have you been doing? Because we talked like a week ago, I think.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
I called or you called about like cause we didn't do the podcast last week, which there's been I am very late on uploading the podcast because we are technically this will be this will be the what third one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, way behind. I don't know how I space them, but I'll space them somehow. But whenever this comes out, I have a kind of meet and greet slash interview. They didn't really call it an interview, but interview for a job somewhere else,
Yes.
and hopefully I get it. It's gonna be a big change of pace. It's like opposite of what I do now,
Right.
polar opposite. So like we'll see how I adjust. Like I definitely want to learn, make more stuff. I think that's what's gonna get me through. Is that like I'm just learning how to do all these new things with this job because I have not set foot into this industry at all.
Um, yeah, that's definitely a little intimidating.
Yeah, it is, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well. I'll tell you
Yep.
next podcast. Hopefully right, but oh yeah,
Right.
what are you playing?
Um, More Minecraft, and that's it.
Good.
Um, yeah. And we played Left 4 Dead one day. That was
Yeah,
fun.
we gotta get back on Left 4 Dead. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
that was a good
I
time.
tried
We
to
played,
record it and it just didn't work out.
yeah, and
I
we
don't know, it
played
sucks.
the first episode of the first game, and we got all the way through till the end, and we fucking died, and the AIs escaped, and we didn't. So,
Hey, but we still won.
You still caught the W.
Yeah, but as for like what else I've been doing, just working, just get. I made a super dope photo
Oh yeah,
for the
talk about that.
portfolio.
I love that thing. That's
That
like one
was
of my
I
favorite things.
we so Eddie and I took a cold ass picture when he was visiting here, right? And so it was a video on how to like turn any photo into like a logo. And so what I pretty much did was I took our photo. I think I turned the saturation like, pretty much all the way down to zero because so it was only like black and white, pretty much. I think saturation it. I made the photo black and white, and I pretty much what did I do? So there's the photo, and then there was a just like a blank like white layer on top. Well, actually, technically there is. So there's our photo, a transparent layer, and then also a white layer that is on top. But the white layer didn't come till later, and I just outlined in a thick red brush marker, like on GIMP, our whole outline, kind of like following our curves and everything. I did a pretty good job, so you could tell it's two
Mm-hmm.
people, right? I got our outlines done, and I had to do it where like the middle of the brush is like on our, it's like on the edge of our like bodies. So like half of it is on like inside and half of it's outside. Just because like if I did it completely like drawing an outline, then like the two would meet and just wouldn't look good. Like it would just merge.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I took a way smaller, finer paintbrush and went in and just kind of like any creases that we had in our pants. Because that's what the video said to do. I was following this whole video, Logos by
Yeah.
Nick or something like that, on YouTube. Check him out. And I just kind of followed like creases or shadows, anything that like could stand out. And I was not turning like it turned out to be way better than I thought. I was like, yo, this is cold. And
Yeah,
so I
dude.
I did some more stuff. I was like, because I think what did it was like how I got like the half of your sunglass, your not sunglasses, your
Yeah, the
glasses.
outside.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta fill that in because they don't know what the hell that is. They'll think it's
Yeah, like
sunglasses and not actual like
right.
glasses. But like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm submitting that for my
Cool.
portfolio. It's actually, if you check my Instagram, I made that my profile picture.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
that is
That's a
sick.
great photo. I love that one.
That's a lit photo. I was like, wow, I'm gonna make a T-shirt eventually, and I'm gonna send you one. I'm
Oh,
gonna,
hell yeah, dude. That would be
yeah,
sick.
yeah, you could easily
I
like
want
make
to
that.
check
Oh my
one.
gosh, go ahead and check live on camera.
God damn it. I keep typing. There
But
we
yeah,
go.
I'm gonna be
Oh,
submitting that
awesome.
as a
Can we see?
portfolio. Let's see.
No, it's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
it's not
But
gonna.
yeah, it's there. Hell yeah.
Oh, it's so that's on my personal Instagram, not the pen and paint one.
Yeah.
But well, other than that, I actually got COVID again.
Yeah, twice, dude. What the
Had it twice in 1 month. April,
crazy.
March has been rough.
Yeah.
But done with that. Hopefully I don't get it again. That would suck.
Are you better?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay,
definitely feel better.
that's good.
But like today I worked a long day. Like it was like 11 hours. Like I was done with like the morning shift, right, and then I was finishing up paperwork or whatever. Then I went into the office, did some things with the. I'm making like a part of a training video, so I was doing the training video stuff, and then we had a meeting that went from 12 to 1, and then we had another meeting on top of that, back to back was one to
Yo.
two, and then my boss and I that of the place we run, we met with our supervisor that had another meeting that went from like 2 to like 2:45 or 3ish. It's like we were in meetings like 3 hours.
Ew. I hate that.
Oh, I
It's
was
like
like,
so stationary. You
and
don't like do
I
anything.
know. I was like, oh, it's I from 12 to 1. I was like, one was approaching. I was like, oh dang, all right, it's gonna be nice. nice meeting him. I have some downtime. I can do some stuff before I have to go talk to my supervisor and stuff. And then more people came in. I was like, oh man, we're doing this back to
Oh, gee.
back, huh? Damn. It's like this is poo poo.
Tough stuff.
Tough stuff. Yeah, but long day. Pretty much, it was 11 hours and 15 minutes is what I worked on the clock
Ew.
for.
Ugh, gross. Well, that's so fun.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
playing anything on the side?
I was playing. So the reason why I did on the I stayed up the night before super late with my girlfriend
Uh-oh.
on the worst night. Like I did not expect the following you know morning day to
Yeah.
be this long. So like I'm like
Yeah,
running on super low hours of
I
sleep.
bet.
But we were
Hmm.
playing Diablo 4 open
Oh, yeah, yeah,
beta.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Hmm.
Diablo 4 open beta. And if you get to level 20 in the beta, you get like this wolf pack. Like it's like a back bling, pretty much like a back bling wolf pack. It sits on the back of your dude. And my girlfriend and I were like, we want that so bad.
It has to be done.
Right? Yeah. So we jumped in. I chose Necromancer. I've never played Necromancer, and she did Sorcerer. The
Okay.
Necromancer is fun. I just like
Oh, yeah.
having. I just like my skeleton dudes are. They go forth, and I'm just like my starting ability was like bone shards. I was just throwing bones. Fucking.
Yeah,
It would split three ways. So it's like,
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
oh, dude, Diablo 4 it looks so good. Like visually, it's a
Good.
way better step up than Diablo 3. And it
Awesome.
was so addicting too. I was like, this is why I love Diablo 3. It was so
Yeah.
addicting, the same gameplay loop, but like more refined.
Yeah. Is it more challenging?
I mean, I only pl- I her and I only played on like the beginning difficulty. You could have played on harder difficulties, but like the base difficulty, I only died like twice is during like actually three times. Twice is during like a boss phase, but like I kept getting stuck in the enemies you know big move that's gonna one
Um,
shot you pretty much.
right.
But I say overall, no, it hasn't been hard so far. Like on just the base Diablo 4, like base difficulty.
Right. Yeah. Because I just remember one of the biggest criticisms the community and me and Chance were the ones who played it, I feel like the most. Um, was that it was too easy. It was so easy. Like even on I think it was like not Mayhem. It was like
Paragon
Paragon 10
or
when
something
it
like
was
that.
only went
Yeah.
up to 10. It was like even on 10 it was easy as fuck. Um
Yeah, I think
so
they've changed. They definitely got the feedback from that, and there was difficulty options
okay, that's good.
for sure. And like I don't think like Diablo 3 made it to where like you can beat the game on like the hardest difficulty, but then like once you beat it, then there's like end game like harder difficulty levels, and
Yeah.
it scales, and like that's
Yeah.
artificial difficulty. It's not really like
Yeah.
so I
Yeah,
don't
just
think
like
yeah.
Mayhem levels. That's why I misspoke because they're the same thing.
Yeah, Borderlands. Yeah, yeah. Borderlands took a note
Yeah.
from
Where
Diablo.
yeah, whereas like in Borderlands 2, the ultimate Vault Hunter mode, like your first playthrough was like legitimately difficult. Like it was actually hard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
is it like crazy hard? No, but like it wasn't like artificial like multiplier difficulty is what I would call it. Is
yeah.
like,
Multiplier
yeah.
difficulty. That's like kind
You
of like
have 75% max health. Enemies have 200% max health. Blah blah blah. I hate that. That's like
like
just throwing
you take
numbers
a
to make
hundred
things
percent
harder is dumb.
exactly. You take 100% more damage, and then you have
Yeah.
200% more health. Good luck.
Yeah.
I'm like that's
Yeah.
not
And
really a challenge. That's not really difficulty.
no.
That's just stat gouging and spongy enemies.
You're just throwing numbers into the code to make things like you're just making the health bar bigger, like so okay, whatever. Like maybe add like obstacles, or like you have to use different pathing, or you have to be more strategic with your movements. Like there's so many ways that you can add difficulty that isn't just like adding a multiplier, like a health multiplier or some dumb shit like that, like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, played Diablo 4, amazing. Got to level 20, stayed up very late.
Oh,
I
you got all the way. Holy shit.
Yeah, because it ended at 12 today,
Oh, it ended today. That would
afternoon,
make
12 in
sense.
the afternoon today. Yeah, so
Nice.
I was like, shit, we
Okay.
gotta do this now. And
It
so
must be done.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did it. Because Ishan already he said like you own Diablo 4 now. I was like, bet.
Oh, hell yeah.
He'll buy that, and I'll buy Spider-Man 2 when that
Nice.
comes out. But play Diablo 4, and then you know when Tiny Tina's Wonderlands released, well before it released, they released the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep one shot adventure game that like mini. It was just the Assault on Dragon Keep as
I
a
think
whole
so.
game.
Yeah.
And so like that was free on PS Plus. I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like playing Borderlands right now. I don't feel like turning on my
Really?
Xbox on. So I just downloaded that, and it's literally Borderlands 2, but I think they fixed the slag. I don't think the slag is like
Uh,
what Borderlands 2
Well,
is.
were you playing from you were playing at level 1?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. So, slag multiplier in the first playthrough I think is only 50%, and then in Ultimate Vault Hunter 300 or 400%. That's probably why.
Okay. I don't know if they have that in this DLC like self standalone game,
Yeah,
but we'll see. I was just kind of been exploring like doing all the side quests.
right.
Some of the side quests are hell annoying. It was like I gotta collect crumpets throughout the whole damn area. It's like
Oh yeah, some of the yeah,
I gotta collect the
there's
fucking
some there's some crappy side quests sometimes.
But you would earn 2 skill points per level. Is that how? That's not how the regular game works, huh?
No, that's yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, because on they had to do that to compensate because it's only that DLC.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I
Well,
played
that's
as
cool.
Salvador, and it was really fun.
Yep.
Borderlands,
Good
nothing
time.
nothing new, but it's same old same. It's good as good.
Same old fire.
Almost done with Octopath Traveler.
Nice.
It is the stories are so I can see the critiques with some of the story from some people where it's like kind of predictable with each of the characters' stories, but some of them can be like pretty compelling. Like
Hmm.
like you play as an apothecary, and you meet another apothecary who's like he'll decide what like if a patient's like kind of like dying like on the ground, he'll like ask them some questions, and he'll at that point he'll determine if your life is worth saving. And so the character you play as an apothecary is like, yeah, that's fucked. Why would you do that, right? And so he pretty much finds out from this guy that well, how it turns out is like he meets this guy because he like walks up on the side of the road to some dude dying and decides not to save this guy dying. And so my character was like, that's fucked. You're fucked. I'm gonna save him, right? But then turns out to be, slowly learns that this guy that he's like still trying to save is a, criminal. He's like a thief. He's a
Right.
he's a horrible person, right? And he, he my apothecary questions the bad dude named Miguel. I
Yeah.
questioned Miguel. I was like, "Are you like, did you do bad things? Did you steal? Did you like kill? Did you murder?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." Right? And then And that dude's like, "All right, I promise I'm gonna save you, but you have to promise like you're gonna turn your life around, right?" That I mean, this is where predictable comes in, right?
Yeah.
You save him and everything, and then he turns around and takes like some he
Ah.
turns around and takes some lady's son hostage and was like, "I want like all your money, everybody's money, or the kid gets it."
God damn it.
So then you so then you're faced with that, that kind of ethical things like is everybody worth saving? You
Right.
know, like based on like, well, this guy's a murderer. Do you save a murderer
Yeah.
who murders more people if you save him?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
predictable. It also like kind of gets you thinking,
Yeah.
and then
Ethical dilemma.
right, and then you learn, and like that's what the my character that's what my apothecary is like, kind of like battling. It's like his whole mission was to save anybody and everybody he can, but then
Yeah.
he comes into this was like, so a kid almost died because of him, because he
Right.
saved some bad person.
Yeah.
And so then like that was the second chapter. In the third chapter, he meets the that old apothecary who has the I'm gonna decide if you're worth saving or not.
Yeah.
He pretty much learns from that guy that he had the same thing happen to him, right? Like some dude was on the run, right? And he came
Okay.
to his house, and the old guy who like in the past, but like he was like, I was like, okay, I'll save you, because like I believe everybody is worth saving,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Takes him into his home. He has him and his wife in this small little home, this village, right?
Yeah. He's gonna fucking steal everything.
Yeah, like yeah, he gets better, right? And like
Yeah.
the apothecary goes out and like does like it goes out into the town, like neighboring areas, like help people who need help. He comes
Yeah.
back, his wife is murdered.
Oh my
Like he
god.
finds his wife in a pool of blood,
Oh
and so
jeez.
like I was like, oh my god, this is dark.
Yeah, dude. Damn.
And then
Yeah.
he tells my character that later is like, I found that guy later who killed my wife, having like, and he found him with him and his like wife and kids.
Uh-huh.
And then he questioned himself. He's like I don't know, I forgot what he said, but he tells my apothecary, he's like, and I killed him. Like I know what he has, and I still killed him out of revenge.
Damn. Savage. Eye
Right?
for an eye, bro.
Right? So he's like, yeah, because he goes out into like the middle of the night, like when he can do that, and like stabs it right in the back.
Yeah.
And then like he's like, it's like I never thought about his wife and kids because I didn't want to. I was like, oh my god, this
Jeez,
is
man.
this is dark as fuck.
That's pretty cold.
It is cold, but like
Yeah.
it's eye for an eye. But like you see him with
Yeah.
his kids and everything, but like he killed my wife. Why
Yeah,
should he?
bro.
Why should he deserve to live with
The
his
revenge
stuff?
isn't real.
Revenge, right?
Jesus.
And that's
Yeah.
how he became with like, I'm gonna decide now who I save.
Wow. That's pretty
Oh,
sinister.
that wasn't even like the end of like that guy's chapter yet. I was like, oh my god.
Wow.
That was Octopath Traveler. Playing that. Not much else other than that. Yeah, played a little bit of Persona
Oh, yeah.
5 yesterday. Didn't get too far.
Nice.
But yeah, let's see how 40 minutes in we haven't talked about our main slice of topic. We're going to be discussing if remakes nowadays are, worth it to the consumer, to us, to the industry as a whole, And so, I want to start out by like giving a definition of a remake. So, there's there's ports, there's remasters, there's remakes, and there's like they're remade, not like a redo, no, like they remade the game.
Yeah. Like
There's like
it's
four
like a reinterpretation based on the original.
yeah, exactly. So like there's four of those things that where a remake could slot in.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, a remake is like not changing the core experience of what the game is, but like going in and making quality of life changes. Like if it was, let's say, like they remade Super Mario 64, but with like two thumbsticks to control instead of
Yeah.
just the one, right? That's a quality of life change in the
Right.
remake. Updated visuals, definitely. Like
Yeah.
it's like they're not like taking this other game up-resing it and like making it look pretty. They're like rebuilding the whole game, one pretty much one for one based on the original.
Yeah.
That to
They're
me is a
changing
remake.
they're changing everything except for the story and the lore. Everything else is up for grabs.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it's pretty much. And so, that's what your definition of remake. So, the next one I want to talk about, like, do we play remakes? Like, I'm talking about like Eddie and I. Do we play remakes? And I mean, I would
Uh,
say, like, or would we? Would we play a remake? Like, let's say they remake Half Life One and Two, right? Whatever.
okay.
Source. They have a Source Two engine. What if they just remade it
Yep.
into Source Two?
Hmm.
Right? Would you play that?
Yes. Most specifically, there is a group of modders. It's kind of interesting that you mentioned Half-Life 1. There's a group of modders that remade Half-Life 1. Um, and it's for sale on the Steam store. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Half-Life something. Half-Life Black Mesa. I don't know what it's called. Something. But it is a remake of
Mm-hmm.
Half-Life 1. Um, and essentially, Half-Life 1 came out in I think the mid 90s or late 90s, one of the two. Or maybe early 2000s. I don't know. It came out before 2004 because that's when Half-Life 2 came out.
Uh-huh.
But this modder group did everything that we just talked about. They changed everything except for the story and the lore. So all the lighting is redone, all the environments are redone, but the flow and the essential gameplays and story elements are identical. Everything looks different, everything looks better. There are, like less buggy, weird things that happen, and yeah. So the core experience, like you said, is exactly the same. The story and the lore is exactly the same, but everything else is either improved or completely redone. So would I play them? Yes, because playing Half-Life 1 in its current state, fuck that. It looks like garbage. Um,
Exactly. Right? And
yeah,
but that brings us also to like a later topic that I want to like touch on is like you're changing art. Like
right.
it's a form of art. But like we'll get to that later. But yeah, like I am for remakes for sure. I mean, like
Yes.
it's because some stuff is not accessible on current hardware. So like yeah, I would like a remake of that. I mean, like
Yeah.
the most recent example, like it's like March 27th right now. So Resident Evil 4 came out 3 days ago. Resident Evil
Yep.
4 remake, and so like, but that was ported. The original game has been ported a lot.
Yes.
So like, this remake, like I would play this remake because those are 2005 controls, and
Yeah.
like I would rather play with like much more current controls because it's more updated and it's fluent, and that's only because it's an action kind of game. It's
Yeah.
action is different than it was 2005 when it is now.
Right. Is that the one with the really bad camera?
Um, when you
Or
say
is
like
that five?
bad camera, like is it something like
The
if you like walk around the corner, like it'll change like
It'll switch the perspective. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's only one, two, and three.
Okay, never mind.
The
Okay.
main games. Oh, there's like other games too, but like no
Yeah.
Resident Evil like you'll follow the main character like as it
Okay,
can.
so
It's
it's
third
over
person,
over the shoulder
over shoulder third
versus
person.
like in the corner of the
Yeah,
room.
that's fixed camera like isometric
I
pretty much.
hate that. Oh my God, I hate that.
Really, you don't like that?
Dude, there are, oh, like in Until Dawn, that's a perfect example. I fucking hate that. There's some sections where it's over the shoulder, but there's a lot of indoor sections that are not, and it does that fucking corner of the room third person shit, and I fucking hate that. I think from like a storytelling perspective, it makes you feel more like an observer, which is kind of nice. Um, because like in a film, like you're an observer into the world,
Mm-hmm.
you're not like following the shoulder because that seems unnatural. You're an observer from the camera's perspective. But when you're
Yeah.
trying to control the what's happening, like While it is like more interesting from like that observer thing I keep talking about, it is like really annoying, so I don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Eddie's answer to the question is like, yeah, he would play remakes, and
Yes.
I would too, because
Yeah.
they're worth, like, personally, I do think they're worth playing because, those they've made, there have been banger games and they deserve the treatment of a remake.
Right.
And so let's move on to the next point of discussion. Like, what does a remake look to you versus what it looks to me?
Um, well, I asked you about this question kind of before we started, and um, what does it look like?
What does a remake look like? Like, if Borderlands 1 was to get remade, how would that look like to you?
I'm gonna pull up actually. I'm gonna show you this mod. Black Mesa, that's what it's called. Okay. So here we are on Steam. So just look at some screenshots. Let's find.
Oh my gosh.
So it's still dated. It came out. It came out in 2020, but it's on the old as fuck Source 2 or Source engine. So
Mm-hmm.
it's it still looks a little okay. We'll use this helicopter picture for an example. So this is the Half-Life 1 remake, and let's pull up actual Half-Life 1 screenshots, and I'll show you the difference. Because it's pretty significant. Show me an outside.
What was that?
Uh,
Just search up that screenshot location.
yeah. Um. Uh. This is close enough. Okay. So here we go. Half-Life 1. This is what it looks like.
Oh my god.
Obviously dated. Look at the
Yeah.
rock textures. Like, does it look horrible? No, but it looks pretty bad. Look at the skybox. Like, it looks like garbage. um, so yeah. So here's base Half-Life 1. Here's the remake. Pretty significant change. Like, it looks way better. Hold on. Go down. Find the helicopter again. Ah, here we go. Yeah. So massive improvement in the textures. The skybox doesn't look nearly as bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's from a visual standpoint, that's kind of what a remake looks like to me. Um, it needs to basically be taken from its original existing look into a look that is consumable from a modern graphical context. So, like, say we're remaking Mario Galaxy, the original Mario Galaxy from 2008.
Yeah.
Um, so Mario Galaxy. This came out. I had this on the Wii. It was a great time. Um, so basically, I'll kind of just go over like what is missing here. So it looks pretty like primitive. Like it just looks like a less jagged Super Mario 64, in my opinion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially, like with if they remade this game, like what would I want to see? I would want to see everything in the background specifically to be high fidelity. I want to get rid of these 2D models like on this tree, this house, everything, all these 2D models go away. Because while this game is 3D, like it's like kind of pulling off that kind of Paper Mario deceptive thing where it looks like it's 3D, but it's kind of not. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, so rather than trying to deceive my eyes with your current technology, I want to be able to experience what they wanted to do in a modern graphical context in the remake. So all this fuzzy shit, I want it gone. All these, like these textures, like make this like look like a real wood board. So like that's what I want. Is I want everything to look up to as if it was made today. Um, but still retaining the general aesthetic of the original. That's
Okay.
kind of the idea that I have.
That's the kind of the answer I was looking at too. A remake is the definitive version of the game, like visually, graphically, like art style, like it should be the same, but like the art style should be you should improve on it.
Yeah.
Like everything
Yeah.
like that, but better.
Exactly. Yeah. I think yeah, just bring it another way I could think about it is like if the developers were to think in this context, so like if we made Super Mario Galaxy in March of 2023, what does it look like? And then go from there. That's what a remake is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So while yes, you're using the framework of the original game as your base, all of your post stuff in terms of like what it looks like aesthetically, that is your mind today. So
Okay. Good. Good. It was a good answer. What you had right there. I like that.
yeah,
Now,
thanks,
next
man.
one I had. Are they needed in today's? Well, actually, I wouldn't say yeah, because we are talking about modern remakes. So today, are they needed? What do you think?
Well, what do you think? Are they needed?
Um, it really depends like on the game. So like I'm gonna point to what we have up here on the screen. Live Alive. That was needed because one, it was stuck in Japan, and so the only other way we could play it was a fan translation mod.
Trying to find
Like it
screenshots.
was those are screenshots. Oh,
Those are videos. These are
okay, yeah.
screenshots. There we go.
So like it was stuck on the SNES, but like which is called the Super Famicom in Japan, and so we never got it in the U.S.
Right.
until last July.
Right.
And so that game, yeah, it needed to get remade because one, it was made in like 94 on
Mm-hmm.
a foreign console that never got localized over here.
Right.
And it was only through like fan localization, which, you're not they're not the original like creators of the game. They can only do so much to interpret what they want.
Right.
But for example, let me pull Last of Us Part 1. That was not needed. The Last of Us Part 1 was not a game that needed to be remade, in my opinion. The original, it was the original looks amazing. Like the best looking PS3 game ever. Like it rivals PS4 games, to be honest. But then, right, it was remastered for PS4 a year later because it came out in 2013. Well, then like the PS4 released that year too. So then in 2014 they remastered it. It still looks really good.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree with that.
Visually, like gameplay wise, like it like maybe the gameplay was like a little bit, what's the word,
Rickety.
jagged, yeah,
Yeah.
Ricky, because like it is
Unresponsive.
PS3.
Yeah.
So like that's what I mean. Like, are they needed? So in your opinion, modern remakes, I think it really depends. There can't be a definitive answer.
Yeah. I think there should be I'm trying to think. The biggest like graphical technology change that I ever saw was probably like right before the Xbox One came out. So like late or excuse me, early 2010s. I would say like 2011 to 2013.
Uh huh.
Um those anything after 2011, it doesn't need it. I really don't think so. Cuz like when I go back and I think about like what does Modern Warfare 3 look like? It doesn't look bad at all. Like you do not need to remake Modern Warfare 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's just look up Modern Warfare
Like
3
Skyrim.
screenshot.
Do you need to remake Skyrim?
Exactly. Skyrim, and do I want to mention Skyrim? Not really, because Bethesda games are notoriously not that good looking. But look at here we go. Modern Warfare 3. Sorry, my zooming is kind of shitty, but whatever. Um, it looks fine. This does not need a remake. Like the gun textures are high fidelity. The gloves have shine. The grass is a little iffy, but whatever. You know, it's grass. The plane texture looks real. The enemies look like real people. The machine, like this
Yeah.
IMS right here, looks like a real object. It has shine from the sun. The muzzle flash is realistic. Like all the smaller bits, like the grenade launcher on this guy's ACR, you can see it. And the tree looks fine, and like the bushes in the distance, everything looks fine. This game
Yeah.
came out in 2011, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. 20. No, not 20. No, 2011. You're right. Yeah, because 2012 was
Yeah,
Black Ops 2.
yeah. So, in my opinion, 2011 and on, unless the game was specifically made and it looked like ass, uh, there's not many examples of a game
Not
that
many.
looked that bad that also needs to be remade. Because like we could say like, oh well, Minecraft came out in 2010, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever. But we don't need a remake of Minecraft because it's supposed to look like that. Um,
Exactly.
so um, yeah, it's just like if it came out after that time from a visual standpoint, even an audio standpoint, no, it's not necessary.
It's not.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
by that
Not for a
time,
remake.
yeah, by that time, that's when I noticed like the biggest change in technology. Because like in the 2000s, like when I first started playing like modern consoles, like on the 360, like when I played World at War, even some of those late 2000s games, I don't really think they need a remake. But when you talk about The Last of Us, like you're right, this game does not need a fucking remake. Like
Mm-mm.
let's look at original screenshots of The Last of Us. Uh,
And for something like Modern Warfare 3, I agree. It doesn't need a remake. What it could use is a remaster for sure.
sure,
But like not
not a
remaking
remake.
the game. No.
No. Um, Here. This is an original photo, isn't it?
I think
Yeah, look,
the difference, yeah.
I hold on. Let's get like
That
legit.
article has spot the difference if you click on it.
Where?
All right, that one right there. Yeah, him. That's PS3
This one.
Joel.
PS3 Joel. Okay, here we go. I mean, let's get real. He looks fine. He has details in his beard. Ellie's hair looks fine. It's got shimmer on it. The clothing, you can see the ripples and the wrinkles, the little tears. Sure, it looks a little like artificial, but it doesn't look bad. Like it looks good. Like
Yeah.
I would put this game looks about as good as COD Ghosts. I don't know why I keep thinking of COD, but it
Yeah.
does. Um, like when I think of COD Ghosts is what I think of in my head. Like it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you everything it's kind of that transitory period between that hyper realistic shit that we have now and that really like fuzzy dark everything is like one color palette thing that every game in the late 2000s had like um and like we could go over all the examples. Gears of War all looked like that dark like
Mm-hmm.
super fuzzy, but like this is the transitory period. Like you have semblances of major detail. Like you can see his hair, he has glisten in his eye, wrinkles on his face, um, like all that shit. Like even from a distance, like you can see texture in her skin and like shit like that. So like, um, just because this was in a transition period doesn't mean that it needs like a big remake. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this looks fine.
100%. And so, like, yeah, it really depends, but like around that time, like, yeah, you don't need a remake. You need like more of a remaster or
Yeah.
port with like updated visuals kind of thing. And so like, but like I also want to like push back on it a little bit. Um, so another remake that was released recently in 2021, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I personally believe those didn't have to get remade because like how they were on the DS and stuff, like the visuals on that, like updated like sprites, sure, make it look a little bit crispier and stuff, but like
Yeah.
how they went into 3D like that. It looks like chibi Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
At that point, I would prefer playing the original like sprite pixel based, Pokemon games because those
Yeah.
those look visually pleasing.
Yeah.
But that also brings
Yeah.
into like our next question, like the target audience. A target audience today would look at Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and be like, "Yo, this looks old as fuck. I don't want to play
This is
that."
archaic. Yeah, it looks
I was
ancient,
like, I can
right?
see the edges on her hair. Why would I want to play that?
Yeah.
And so like it's also. I'll mute that
Sorry.
before we get fucked by Nintendo.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the target audience of remakes is spotty because like this is definitely geared towards more everybody nowadays because it's 3D, it's more modern looking. It looks good from like a today's perspective. I mean, it's 3D. You can see like the shadows, like light textures and everything,
Yeah.
and it looks cute,
Even reflection on that floor. That's cool.
right? And so like
Yeah.
the target audience for The Last of Us Part 1, I mean, it's not very much different than when you had it 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like you have some
Yeah.
people like who are now mature enough to like can buy that game,
Right.
but it's not drastically changing the target audience. Like for example,
Yeah.
let's do let me bring up the remake of Final Fantasy VII. The target audience of when that game first came out was like the hardcore like role playing game people. Like and also it was also on the PlayStation 1. So like it was the beginning of 3D graphics. This was like the first big step into 3D, like right after Super Mario 64. And so and so they looked at that today and was like, we can't have this game be turn based because people nowadays they want action.
Exactly. Yeah. Turn-based is no longer the standard. Similar to when visual games became popular and text-based games died. Um, just like turn-based games died and turned into constant real-time action. Um, yeah.
Yep, they're still living on, but they're not completely dead. Like, dude, yeah, text based adventures,
Hmm.
they're non-existent,
Yeah.
and
That was the beginning of gaming, you
pretty
know.
much,
That
yeah,
was some of the earliest stuff is text adventures. And that slowly was altered into visual text adventures, and then those kind of started to die out in the early 90s. And then we got into turn-based stuff, and we got into real-time action, like with the early FPSs and shit. So yeah.
yeah. The target audience it definitely needs to be kept in mind for like, for example, for Final Fantasy VII Remake, the target audience is the general like public now because most people like action fluid combat like this, nice big swords and flashy magic and stuff. Like definitely wasn't like that. Was that what it couldn't have been possible for that kind of target audience in '97 when this game came out. So,
Exactly.
but I also want to talk about now the ethics of changing arts because you know you're if you change art enough, then what is the original is lost in translation.
Right. Quick side note, look at the detail on her hands. I think that's amazing. Look at
Wow, on a
that.
web page, holy crap!
Yeah, look at her fingernails. That's amazing. I'm pretty
Holy
impressed
crap!
by that. And the hair. Okay, side note, keep going.
Like I want to talk about the ethics of changing video games too much
Right. Yeah.
because I mean
Um,
we don't know like the Art of War by Sun Tzu,
yep.
is that the original one or is it people have just kind of like the Bible, like it's been translated, it's been like stories have changed, based on history or whatever. It's
Right.
not the original, and so like it's far fetched, but I kind of want to bring that into video games now. So like
Yeah.
we keep remaking games. Like if another 20 years, are we gonna remake Final Fantasy VII again? What does
Yeah.
that look like?
Right. I think a good little maybe what you're getting at is like how many times can you remake something before it's just a new game? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, or like you know, because Final. Okay, I want to bring up Final Fantasy VII again. It's like in the title, it's called remake, but that game is a reimagining. Like they remade that game. The story is not the same. It is. I mean, it loosely follows it, but there are major points where characters are appearing way earlier than they should be. It's like
Right.
at that point, and then they adopt like an alternate timeline kind of stuff, which was not in the original. Because what they went for like this hella meta stuff, sort of. It's like they have a timeline of the original game, and then now in this remake, the characters are noticing. So they go, wait, that wasn't supposed to happen. But it's like, how do you know that? How are you
Right.
recognizing that this is supposed to happen? Because there's these like weird. If you keep going to the screenshots, I wonder if they're gonna show what I'm trying to talk about. Like these wisps, these like like a grayish wisp thingies. Keep going. Keep clicking. I gotta click faster. Let me see. Not that guy. No. Keep that's the DLC. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Let me see.
Wow, this one, I'm impressed with this sewer shot. That looks great.
Dude,
That fog.
that game is amazing.
Oh man, the lighting.
God, I want to. I
This
think
looks
like
great.
I think they show those
Looks
enemies,
really good.
the wisps of fate. I don't know what they're actually called. Guess they're not. But there are these things that fly around. Whenever like major points happen that are supposed to happen in like Final Fantasy VII, but in remake, those things are popping to let you know that like, yo, the timeline's changing. You guys are doing something different. Go back to what it
Mm.
was. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And so, at some point, like you see the girl with like the detailed hands that you liked. At
Yes.
that at some point, she realizes it's like if we do this, we are changing. She doesn't outright say it, but like we're changing something, like we're changing the world, or like this isn't supposed
Right.
to happen. Do we really want to do this? It's like
Hmm.
that is so cool, but it also is so far away. It's almost like a sequel, kind of not. A
Okay.
sequel slash alternate timeline. They're going very like meta, like game. Like, is it a sequel or is it an alternate timeline?
Right. Yeah.
That is so cool. I think, in my opinion, that is
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah, that is a cool feature to where like you can expand the universe of a story to a greater
Yeah,
degree than just adding a sequel or prequel. Like you can have something in a parallel time that's completely different.
yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I can't wait for this. Can't wait for Final Fantasy like remake part two, which is called Rebirth. It's like how they did it with the name was like remake. They're remaking the timeline, right?
Right.
Kind of like I watch a lot of YouTube videos to like understand this.
Hmm.
And then Rebirth, like they're rebirthing. Like they've gotten to the point where like they're past remaking it. They're rebirthing it. They're rebirthing the timeline to make something different. It's like it's not the
Weird.
same anymore because it's a rebirth,
Interesting. Huh.
right? And I was like, what's the
Yeah.
third title gonna be called? The re
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. They'll just start using Eminem album titles. Relapse, Recovery,
Relapse,
Revival.
revival, maybe. Man, I don't know. But like that is like the like on changing art. I guess it's you're not. This isn't changing it because the original, like I guess like the original is still there. But if you were to
Yeah.
like what EA has not EA, Blizzard did
Mhm.
when Overwatch 2 came out, they completely like delisted and like shut down Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Like games that aren't playable anymore. Like for example, Rockstar is pretty greedy for this. When the definitive versions of editions of GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas released, they like took down like at least on the PC store on like the Steam, they took down the original
Oh
games.
wow.
Yeah,
Gross.
so like, what if that was like the only way to play it? Then we
Right.
lost that.
Yeah. Then it technically is the only. It is a new game.
Then you're
It's a
changing.
different game.
Yeah, then like
Yeah.
that's ethically like, you wouldn't do that to the fucking Mona Lisa. But I mean, this is way
Right.
different.
Yeah. There's a bit of um. I'll bring up two things. I think a little bit. You know what the ship of Theseus is? Have you heard of that?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
actually a point in like, um, what's the Marvel show, WandaVision. That was the first I heard of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
yo, that is an interesting concept. Explain to me
Yeah.
again, though. I want to hear
So this picture sucks. Hold on. Let me
it.
find a better one. Um.
Oh,
Okay. Here we go.
oh,
This
I
is a
know
good
this
one.
concept. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So essentially, like, okay, so we have this ship, right? It was
Yeah.
built in, say, 2000. Okay.
Okay.
So, this ship goes through a lot of battles. It's fucking beat up, and when it gets beat up, you have to repair it. So, like, say it goes to battle, and say the ship is made out of three boards. That's just for example purposes. It's made out of three parts. It's made out of the sail, the pole, and the body of the ship. So after one battle, the ship gets really damaged on the sail. So they replace the sail. Okay.
Okay.
The next battle, the pole gets super damaged. So they replace the pole. The third battle, the body of the ship gets really damaged. So they replace the body. At this point, is it still the same ship? Because every single part is no longer of the original ship. So is it the same ship or is it a new ship?
Yeah, you gotta ask yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's like an interesting, like kind of like philosophical things. Like,
Yeah.
is it the same?
Exactly. So in a game context, say okay, let's say we'll go really extreme with The Last of Us because I think it's funny. Um, okay, so we have the original Last of Us, right? So say a game is made up of three qualities: visuals, story, and I don't know what's the third quality? Gameplay. Okay, these three,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Okay, so we have the original Last of Us. Okay, this remake, all the visuals are done, right? Completely redone, crazy. So, say they remake it again, similar to what they're doing with the TV show.
Yeah.
The story is relatively the same, but it's pretty new. It's like
Yeah.
based on. So, okay, now we've replaced the visuals and the story. Say they remake it a third time and it's like 2030. The gameplay is no longer a third person, now it's a first person. Is it still The Last of Us or is it a new game called The Last of Us? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
because it is based on shaped like, looks like, walks like, talks like The Last of Us, but it is completely replaced in all of its parts. So is it still The Last of Us?
Yeah. I I say no. Like that's not.
Or just a new game called The Last of Us?
I don't think it is. It's like not.
Right.
It's not the same. I think
Yeah.
it's different,
Right.
but it looks the same.
Exactly. It looks the same, has it's based on it's based on the original. It's still The Last of Us. It still has a story about you and a young woman and you're like going through this adventure, but everything about it is new. So like, is it still the or is it a different game? You know what I mean? So like, yeah. And then the other point I wanted to talk about is when you said the Mona Lisa, not specifically with the Mona Lisa, but
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of old paintings. Um, if you ever notice, like they look really yellowy. You kind of
Yeah.
notice that.
Yes.
So when old painters would do those portraits and whatnot, it's oil paint, right? And oil paint and lacquer. Lacquer is what you put on top of it. So say I paint these trees back behind me,
Okay.
these guys. When I'm done, I'm gonna put a lacquer over it, which is like a clear coat that protects it from the environment. Over hundreds and hundreds of years, lacquer turns yellow. That's
Yeah.
just how it is. That's what happens. Um, there's some debate in the art community on whether or not on what you do with these old paintings. So there's a few things you can do. You can leave it the way it is. You can remove the lacquer to reveal what the painting originally looked like,
Uh-huh.
or you can reproduce the painting with our modern technology that allows us to unlacquer the painting without removing it, and to reproduce it and display it as like the real thing. So, what's the right way to do it? Like, to remove the natural aging of the piece, or to remake it to what it was originally looked like, or to sort of like remaster the painting in terms of like cleaning it up and
Yeah.
whatever. Um, is that ethical in terms of like reproduction of art? So it's the same thing with the games. You're removing that sheen of lacquer with The Last of Us. Like, sure, it looked a little fuzzy, it looked a little stupid, but uh, is that like okay? Because that's what it was made to look like at the time, and it's a groundbreaking game for a reason. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So just like an old painting, is it ethical or the right decision to remove that lacquer or to make the graphics better, for the sake of appealing to a new audience in which the game was not meant to be experienced with, you
Yeah.
know? So, interesting question. Lots of parallels in the art world. Sure.
Yeah. It's too much change, like too little. Like, what do you change in
Yep.
remaking a game, and what do you leave the same?
Right.
What do you not change a lot of? It's like those are a lot of interesting questions, but I really like the discussion that we had on it. Like, the ship of Theseus is a really good example. I'm glad you brought that up. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. But
Yeah. When you said, um, I can't remember. You said something and it just set off in
yeah,
my head, and I was just like Googling it, like, oh,
it's like, oh my god, what is he thinking?
yeah,
But those are all the talking points that I wanted to bring up. Was there any that you had before we kind of just talk about the? I just wanted to end with like talking about the remakes that we have listed here, the most modern, recent ones. That I just kind
yeah,
of want to like just talk about myself, just like as like a fan.
right. Yeah, I don't think so. No specific additional questions. I think we kind of covered every like attribute of the considerations you would involve yourself with,
Yeah.
in terms of remakes and whatever. So, um, and yeah, so Counter-Strike 2, we talked about that. So we'll start with this.
Resident Evil 4 came out very recently.
Yes.
Are you much of a horror fan? You are much of a horror fan, but this style of horror was like, I guess it is survival horror. I guess the original game I've heard people say was like more action, but then in this remake they kind of made it more survival horror. What do you think?
Yeah.
Would you play it?
I prefer a survival horror to a action horror. I like spooky, creepy shit more than I like slashery, blowing heads off, blood and guts type of horror.
Okay.
Um,
Then this game
yeah,
might not be for you then, because he's kind of like a. This is sort of where Resident Evil. It was a huge change because like you said, you really hate the top down like fixed perspective
that
of
fucking camera
horror.
is awful.
Yeah,
I hate that
that's
so
what it was
much.
used to, and so then
Yeah,
they decided to like change it up with this, and I guess they also tried to like slide in a little bit more like cheesiness into it, and like
yeah.
what he
Oh no, I've heard
says.
of that. Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
well, and like in this
Yeah.
game, you can parry. There's a guy with a chainsaw, and you can parry him with a fucking knife. So like, I mean, that's obviously not realistic, but like it's a game also, and like
Yeah,
your survival horror, and obviously
right.
this village. might not happen, might not be real. But like
Right.
also like the main point is like people just love parrying in this game and just you can just roundhouse kick everybody. It's so funny. You could also like fucking
Yeah.
suplex
I have
people.
heard
Oh, hold on, you're a bit lagging a little bit.
my
I think it's because you're sharing your screen. They
that's
have
probably why.
That happened before a little bit too.
Yeah.
All right, but like anyway, like I was
But
saying, like you can
yeah.
suplex the fuck out of people. Like that sounds cool. Like
Yeah.
it's definitely not like survival horror like what you would do not realistic, quote unquote
Yeah.
realistic survival horror, but like I would love the fucking roundhouse kick fucking people trying to kill me any day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like I've heard that the old Resident Evil games were a little bit more I know they took inspiration from like 80s action. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of corny one-liners and like
there is, dude.
he'll say like the main guy, I can't remember his name, but he'll say like silly little things and like I don't know, like in 80s action like some guy will like have a detonator and he'll say like dinner is served,
Yeah.
you know? So, something like he says shit like that. Like that's part of the charm of the game, though. Like
Yeah.
that's not really what I'm talking about in terms of like what I like and what I don't like with horror. It's more just like if I'm watching a horror movie, I like to be like spooked rather
Yeah.
than like watching like Halloween. Like Halloween
Yeah.
is like a slasher movie. They're fun too, but like if I'm watching horror, I like really like spooky shit rather than like oh my god shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Would you I mean, have you seen any trailers for this? Would you play it?
Haven't seen trailers, but I have played Resident Evil 7, which I like a lot.
Yeah, it's
And
not in any way similar to
yeah,
Resident Evil 4.
uh, that's the difference here, because this is the old style of these.
Yeah.
Leon, that's his name,
Yeah, third
and
person.
yeah, it's also third person, but in terms of visual, it looks pretty similar. From what I'm looking at here, like it has that similar graphical style to Resident Evil 7 and Village. Um, but yeah, I see that for sure. It looks really nice. I really
Mhm.
like it. Would I play it? Probably not because it's expensive and I'm poor. But
All right, but like
um,
let's say like you had the time and, like you had the money.
if I
Would
had the
you
time
play
and the
it?
money, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
it
that's
looks
something
cool.
you would play. Okay, let's move on down the list then. The last was part 1.
Uh,
Personally, actually, I would play Resident Evil 4. By the way, I forgot to answer that. I would play that.
yeah,
It
hell
sounds
yeah.
fun, dude. That sounds so fun. Let's see. Last was part 1. I personally, I would have played the remake because I've already played the original and like
God, these look
my
good.
stance on it that like it's the same game and it doesn't really need the remake, but like
Right.
it's nice that it's there. Like for you playing the first time, I would recommend you would play the remake.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would be more inclined to play this one than Resident Evil because I know that Last of Us is like a cherished game, and playing it in a fully realized form that runs like super nice would be awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on down the list again. Let's go Live Alive. Also, you spelled that wrong.
Oh, tragedy.
It's weird how it's spelled, huh? Live dash dash a. I
Oh,
mean,
live dash
yeah. Isn't
live
that weird?
dash dash live.
Live Alive, which I don't understand. Like that doesn't like. I don't know why. Like the game's like not reflective of like live a live. I don't
Is
understand.
it live alive?
No, it's
Is it
Live
live
Alive.
a live? Like,
Live Alive. But I mean, live
but
alive sounds better because you're living the life
yeah,
of like
that's what I
7 other people. But like
yeah.
no, it's like like the guy in the trailers is like play Live Alive on July
Oh,
27th or
weird.
whatever.
It would make more sense if it was live alive.
It would make more
Yeah,
sense, yeah.
yeah.
But for Live Alive, I've already played it. Highly recommend. great
Oh
story,
yeah.
lot of grinding towards the end, but those individual stories, you could not even you could just not like do the last like what 10 hours, which is a lot of kind of a lot of grinding, but like it really devolves into that like, oh my god, we have to kill this guy who's gonna bring destruction of the universe. But like
Right.
those individual stories you first play, absolutely worth it. Like they're bite sized and they're really entertaining, really good. They have different
Yeah. I
styles of it.
remember when you were playing this, you loved it.
Loved it, dude. And I'm always
Yeah.
gonna support those kind of games. I love how those pixel like if Pokemon remade their games like that, Eddie, would you
Oh, I
buy?
know.
Would you buy?
Probably, man.
Dude,
It
yeah.
would looks way better than the Diamond and Pearl that we showed
Oh my
earlier that we're gonna
god,
show again in a
yes,
second.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I would pay top dollar for Pokemon to look like
Yeah.
that.
Much better. Much better.
Much better. Okay. Would you play Live Alive?
Probably not, because it doesn't super
Turn
appeal to
based.
me in terms of like the type of game that it is. Like, I like a good story, but when it's like really reedy, I tend to lose it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. Yeah. And are you more of a? You're not really of a turn based guy, huh?
no, only in Pokemon. I do like turn-based Pokemon. That's about it, though.
All right. Down the list, Demon Souls or actually Demon's Souls.
Demon's Souls. Uh, oh my God, I have to type in the fucking this again.
Oh, can't even look at it.
January 1st, 1900, baby. I'm 123. All right,
Um,
here we go.
I've played this game, and if I I would recommend people play this game, but like I tried it and just like I I would try to play it again, but like I know myself, and these kind of games are I just don't finish them. I just don't finish
Why
them.
don't you like it? Okay, from okay,
I
let's
don't
let's
dislike
compare.
it.
Okay. Well, let's compare. So, Bloodborne and this game. Do you not play them for the same reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah, cuz like they're pretty much around the same.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
just difficult, man. And like
It is hard. Yeah.
it's very difficult.
Yeah. And Demon Souls has some of the early FromSoft failures that you see in Dark Souls 1 also.
Uh-huh.
Like some of the really uh I don't know what you call it. The interconnected level design is not as pertinent in this game either as it is in Dark Souls 1. So that's not great, but there are some failures in terms of like I don't know where I'm going. Like, what do I do? There's a lot of that, which is kind of a sign of that period. But,
Mhm.
um, and then there's some like really like annoying level design that slowly was phased out of the Dark Souls games because it wasn't really difficult. It was just fucking annoying. Um, so I would say like in terms of accessibility in the Souls series, this is not a good one to start with or play like in the early, the first few
Yeah.
times. Um I would say like Dark Souls 3 is probably the most accessible. Like everyone's gonna say, "Oh, Elden Ring is more." No, it's not. I disagree completely. I completely disagree because I came from playing Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1, and then I went to Elden Ring and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
that's like the whole point. I was
Um,
like, just do whatever you
yeah,
want.
exactly. So, yeah, like for Souls accessibility, I say 3. Do 3. 3 should be the first one you do. Um, but yeah. Do you see yourself ever ever beating any of them?
No.
I don't know if you beat Elden Ring. No.
No, I'll be honest. No, I don't. I thought I could like
That's
jump back in with a new character when you were
Yeah.
over here, and like I thought I could continue
Oh
with
yeah, I
it.
remember.
I don't know, man.
It takes a lot out of you, man. I get it. It's it is a lot.
It's very
Like when I
difficult.
remember months before Elden Ring came out, I remember Ishan asked like, they're gonna release an open world Dark Souls, and I was like, oh god, not again. I can't do it. I literally told him I do not have the mental energy to do that. I did it. I did it anyway
I did it
though.
anyway.
I mustered it up somehow.
All right. Next one up, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Absolutely
All right.
recommend.
Back to
But
boom.
the thing is, like,
Hand textures.
you get the most out of it by playing the original, then playing this, which I didn't do.
Oh, you did the opposite direction?
Yeah, so
Or you'd not played the
I
original?
didn't even play the original. So I played this. I was like, yo, I want to know what happens, right? And then I watched like
Yeah.
a 25-minute like here's what happens in Final Fantasy VII, and
Okay.
I figure out like the events of the story. And I was like, oh man, that's what happens. Am I excited to play this? But then I started watching later, like months down the line, not months, but like yeah, months down the line. I was like a video popped up about like the alternate timeline. I was like, alternate timeline. I was like, what are you talking about? And so then it kind of
What the
connected.
fuck?
It kind of connected to me because I didn't play the original, so I was like, yo, a lot was different, and this is intentional.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I was like, oh, that cutscene was like, oh my god, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, play this game. Play this game.
Right. Yeah. That's cool though, because
Right?
like I do get what you mean. It probably feels like you missed out because
Yeah, it
you didn't
feels
get
it
like the
does
original experience.
does feel like
Yeah.
I missed out. Like I already know like the major events that happened in Final Fantasy VII. I mean, like
Right.
those could still happen or not happen. It's an uncharted territory
Hmm.
now. Like they've
Yeah.
stepped into that like alternate timeline now.
Yeah, if you open the door to the multiverse, just like with so it's kind of a good business strategy. Like
Yeah,
when Marvel introduced the multiverse, they basically created an everlasting story
yeah,
because all you have to do is say, "Oh, this guy came in from the multiverse," and then you have a whole new, like it'll never it's a good business strategy because now the IP of Final Fantasy can have infinite iterations of their most famous and cherished critically and by fans game ever. So, yeah,
yeah.
they definitely secured the bag on that one.
Exactly. And so
Yeah,
it's it's weird because like I guess there's like kind of three timelines now. Cuz like there's the
right.
original, but then now there's like an alternate and then like the remake timeline because
Mm,
there's like the game shows us a cutscene of of this of these two characters that like what they didn't happen in the original but also didn't happen like in the game that you're like what you already played. It's like it's weird. I have to watch it. I feel like
yeah,
watching it again now. I have to fully
interesting.
understand.
Huh.
And I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so maybe I might tell like Eddie afterwards, but
Yeah.
I couldn't even like explain it to him fully. Like I'd have to like recommend you watch a video, to be
It's too
honest.
much. Too many. Yeah. Once you start involving timelines and shit, it makes stories very, very hard to understand.
And it's hard to follow, yeah. So unless you played the original, like and it's in your mind, then like anything that changes, you can be like, I understand. I understand. Like, oh, that Leonardo DiCaprio, like, whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yeah.
whoop. Yeah. So yeah, recommend playing this. Do you see yourself playing this game just based on like the gameplay and like kind of the story?
I played a lot of 15, um, so probably not.
Well,
Haven't
it's
really.
better than 15 in terms of combat,
Okay.
I would say.
I don't know. I just like it sounds like I'm racist, but like I don't know, just games from Japan just don't really get me. Like I love Souls games. They're all from Japan. But like
Yeah,
most of them I just like they don't get me. I don't know what it is.
yeah.
I
Let's
just
see, Souls and Pokemon, which you like,
yeah,
which are
those are the really
Japanese
the only
games.
two
I mean,
I
like, it
can
doesn't
catch
mean like
on.
you don't like Japan. You're just kind of selective.
Yeah, it's just like that. I don't know if it's the story, the method of storytelling, or because I don't really care for anime either. I don't know what it is.
The art style doesn't really grab you.
I think the art style is really pretty.
Oh,
I don't hate the art style. I do think it can be a little cheesy sometimes.
the
Like things are a little
writing,
too
huh?
bombastic.
The writing gets you, huh? I bet.
Yeah, that might be it. Because yeah, normally like what puts me off in an anime is like when it gets kind of like corny or like really like over the top, like it's like like I don't know. I just don't get it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
People like what they like. I'm not gonna.
right.
If you said like I don't like Japanese games because they're Japanese and
Yeah,
they're from
because
Japan,
then
I'd
I
be
just
like,
out myself
yo,
as a racist on
yeah,
on the podcast. Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah.
Um no, it has nothing to do with where it's from. It's just like
It's the
it's just
style,
like
style
there's
of
some
it.
tropes and there's some styles with Japanese media that I don't really that it doesn't appeal to me.
It just doesn't click. It's all right.
Yeah.
Destroy All Humans 1 and 2 remake. I
This
w-
one's cool.
I would play that because those games they look fun.
Oh
It's
God.
just kind of like oh my gosh,
Fucking
it's
analytics, bro.
you're just going around shooting a bunch of shit like, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
I had one of the later games in this series. I can't
Re
remember which one.
Clone Rampage or something clones.
Oh, God damn it. Hold on.
I feel like
Uh,
there's only been like 3 games in the remakes.
let's find out. Um, okay. What did I have?
There's the timeline.
Was it this? Yeah, I had this one. I played this
Oh,
one.
Wrath of Furon.
Path of
Path
the Furon.
Path of the
Yeah.
Furon.
Had this on the 360. This was great. It was a good time. Damn, look at these reviews.
Terrible. I can't see that
Oh
far.
my God. 1 out of 10 from PlayStation
Oh,
Magazine. Oh my
dang.
God, bro. They ripped this game in half. It wasn't that bad. I kind of liked it. I thought it was fun.
Okay, but like based on that, like, would you play these remakes of the game?
It was just a silly little action game. I was never like attached to it or anything. Like it was fun, but like I don't really care to play another, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a silly little game. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, but let's move on. Like this next one, like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Eddie played it. I played it. I definitely recommend playing it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend playing the original because like they made a lot of quality of life improvements in this. This one, like,
Agree.
yeah, Eddie played it. Like, he knows, like, he hasn't played it since the original, and he played this one. He's like,
Yeah.
yo, everything's like kind of it's like more streamlined, huh?
Yeah. I played the original on the DS. I played a not stolen version on an emulator on my computer. And I played Brilliant Diamond and I do firmly believe that this is the superior version. Regardless of it kind of looks a little weird.
Like a meh.
Like it looks good, but like it looks something's like weird, you know?
Yeah,
Something's wrong. It doesn't like look right. Ever since like after Gen 5, things started to get a little weird for me
it's because
in
they went to
terms of like how
3D.
these games yeah, when these games started to push that boundary, I was like, okay, we're kind of losing the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everything up to
Um,
that point was, except for like some spin-off games, everything was pretty much 2D. I mean, like the TV show, it's 2D animation.
yeah.
The cards, the art is 2D, and then like you have the games which are 2D games. So then when you go to
Um,
3D, it just looks weird.
I do have a rebuttal that I just thought of. Is
Yeah,
it called
Pokemon
Stadium?
Stadium, or and you think might have thinking Coliseum.
Coliseum. That's what I'm thinking of. I had this on the GameCube, and I actually really like how it looks.
I think it was on the 64.
I had it on the GameCube.
That's the
I swear to
GameCube.
God.
I think about
Yeah, there it is.
Pokemon XD. Oh, never mind.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like
I
that's one of the
quite
few games that the few
yeah.
Pokemon 3D Pokemon games that actually like retained its look. I would say
Mhm.
it still looked weird at the time, but like it looked like those Pokemon.
Yeah. It was good. Like this is the one exception I would say for that. The 3D
Yeah.
is like not a good choice.
Do you know the Pokemon Typhlosion?
Yeah, the blue one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look up Typhlosion 2D versus 3D. It looks terrible in 3D. Not even that.
Bro,
Look up 2D versus 3D comparison.
bro, he looks awful in Coliseum. Holy shit. Oh
Look at that.
God,
Look at that.
bro. Homie looks mid.
Look at that. That's the most. I think that's like Sword and or like Pokemon Go or Sword and Shield or something. And then the left is Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
He looks so bad.
He looks so bad. That's like there's one of like the examples of like
Oh
that
man.
didn't translate well to 3D.
Dude, it looks like a snail grew arms and legs and lost its shell and
Yeah,
just
dude, it
standing
looks
up. Looks
horrible.
horrible. Looks so bad. Oh my God, it looks horrible.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, that is funny. Wow.
But other than like that, these are amazing games. Play them. Go enjoy your heart out with some Pokemans. Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, my favorite gen.
Good time. Yeah, 4 and 3 are the best.
Oh, I skipped right over Dead Space.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
I was
mean,
wondering
I
because I
love Dead
kept skipping
Space.
over that one. Yeah, Dead Space, cool.
I would play that.
Everyone says this is better
It is.
than
It's
the
way better
first
than the
one.
original version.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would play it.
Can I get
Survival horror, and I
screenshots?
think you would play it too. I think you would love
Yeah,
that.
this is more my alley because it's gross and it's
Yeah, dude.
weird and yeah, I like that.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Oh, it's so dark. Look how fucking gorgeous that is.
Right?
Oh, that looks so good. All the visuals. Oh, the visuals.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Look at that.
They look so good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, look at the dude. Yeah, I'm blown away by these. These look fantastic. Yeah.
You would definitely up your alley. You would play. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of Dead Space art style, you remember we talked about H.R. Geiger?
Yeah.
He did an album cover for this band. I'll show you
What?
real quick. Yeah, he's done a few actually. This is the one I'm thinking of. Celtic Frost, to Mega Therion. I'll show here. Let's go to Rate Your
Oh
Music.
my god.
Hold on. This shit I think is amazing. Look at that. What a crazy album cover. I love that.
That is H.R. Geiger for sure. What the hell?
Yeah, but apparently he's done a couple of album covers for a few different bands. But that's super off topic. But I just thought of that because of Dead
Yeah.
Space.
That looks so cool. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
super spooky, weird, like really like. Bleh. Yeah. So, hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And the last one we had to talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Now, I actually had a lot of fun with this. I was like one of those, like, I saw that, I was like, I'm going to buy that right now and play it.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like,
Yeah, dude,
I didn't think I would
skateboarding
love
games are
skateboarding
super
games,
fun. I
right?
love them.
If I still remember how to do some of those moves, like, I was trying to, like, do all the challenges on, like, each of the maps.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was really fun. Like, I saw some videos of some guys, like, getting, like, racking up huge scores. I'm like, you guys are insane, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing. So like this is kind of stupid to point out, but like they put, this is the modern Nike skateboarding logo like in this remake, which I think, like it's product placement, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
Modern Monster energy can and shit. Yeah. Yeah. Is it product placement? Yes, but like that's kind of cool. I didn't.
It's not taken away from it, so I mean, like, what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but I think the true star of these games is the soundtracks.
Soundtrack.
They're
They
super
had
super iconic.
they had original. They couldn't use all of the original ones, but they used most of it, and then like they added like a lot of new ones.
Uh, yeah, so a lot of these are like classic punk, pop punk, uh some ska and shit. Like this is like a perfect depiction of that like early thousands like alternative music scene. It was great. Super good. Yeah.
Would you play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 2?
I think if Skate 3 got remastered, I'd probably do that first, but I might play this. Yeah.
You can play Skate 3 now, like backwards compatible.
Did I lose you?
I can see your face cam's frozen. Oh, there you go. You're good
Okay.
now.
I thought I lost you. I can't see when I'm navigating
Oh yeah, it's
this. I
weird.
can't
Yeah.
see us, so I don't know what happens. Like when you go silent, I'm like, oh God, what happened?
But yeah, you can play Skate 3 now, like backwards compatible.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're making a
Yep.
new Skate game.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. Dude, I keep seeing the memes where it's like the captions like
Yeah.
explain this atheist and
Yeah,
it's like Jesus
free. What is it called?
even flow
Even Flow.
by
Yeah.
Pearl Jam. Explain this atheist. Or I
Oh
saw
man.
I saw another one where it was like this dude it was like some guy modded in his character skin to be a steak. It was like explain this vegans.
Oh my
It made me
god.
laugh.
That's so funny. I
Oh
love those
man.
videos.
That made me laugh. I love those. They're so funny. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that's those are all the remakes we wanted to I listed and wanted to talk about. But let's get your closing comments. What'd you think
Um,
about today's episode?
yeah. I like the topic today. I'm glad you brought it up. Because remakes are becoming a more prevalent thing in all media, including movies. I think the movie industry is a little bit more toxic with the remakes than the
Yes.
games, because it's getting kind of sad. Like, there's never any new movies anymore. It's just like a remake of some old fucking thing that everyone likes already. So I don't get it. But game remakes I'm chill with until they start to really fucking send it over the
Yeah,
edge
where it's
like they
about.
do with the movies. Yeah. But yeah, what about you? Got any special extra messages?
Play remakes, but if it's your first, like, remakes are great for people who are just first like kind of jumping in to like gaming or reintroducing themselves. Like someone like someone could have played Resident Evil 4 in like 2005, and like a couple years later kind of just fall off of games. Personal stuff happens, like, and they jump back into it this year, and it's like, oh my gosh, I played this when I was like when I was like 18. This is lit. I want to play it again.
Yeah,
Like that's awesome for them. For me, like Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I played it as a kid. I want to play it now.
yeah,
I'll do that.
exactly. Yeah.
Remakes are worth it. Definitely, definitely buy those. Put your money where your
And
mouth
it's in a
is.
more accessible format.
Exactly. More
Yeah,
accessible and not archaic hardware. I mean, at this point.
yeah. That nobody has.
Exactly. So yeah, play remakes, buy them, support them if you want. They're great
If
pieces.
you want.
Remakes are usually the good ones are usually good games being remade, and you always play good
Hell
games.
yeah. Yes.
All right, and play CS2 when it comes out this summer also.
Yeah, play CS2. Hell yeah. Or at least watch the pro games. If you get into it, it's like I prefer watching pro Counter-Strike than any pro sport.
Yeah, I can see that. I can
It's
see that.
it is really fun. It is really fun. It's a great time.
All right, well let's get out of here. Where can we find you if you want to be found?
If you want to find me, I have my relatively not so new anymore music recommendation platform on Instagram and Rate Your Music, titled Of Synesthesia. Spell that OFSYE. Hold on. Synethesiah. I never spell that right. Sorry. Of Synesthesia. You can find me on Rate Your Music or Instagram. I recommend about 3 or 4 albums a week, and I pair it with a review. I am not a negative reviewer, so I only recommend things that I enjoy and I think are good. Um, so yeah, if you're interested in that, I kind of on Instagram I deliver it in a pretty digestible way. Talk about I'll recommend the album, who made it, what year came out, the primary genre, if it has any secondary genres, lyrical topics, descriptors, and then I give a rating out of 10. It's always going to be a 6 or higher. And then you can read like my full commentary on it on the Rate Your Music website if you're if you're interested. But I cover all kinds of genres. I'll just talk about my last 6 reviews since we're here. Let's see. So I did Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs, 2020 rap album, super great. Gave it a 9. Let's see.
Wait, you wrote all that?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
I write a full one for
Awesome.
every album I review. Uh, oh, it's an alphabetical. Hey, sorry, hold
I
on.
saw you reviewed C418, like the Minecraft one.
That
Oh,
one. These are all my vinyl that I have. Okay, Minecraft. Yeah. Yeah, I reviewed Minecraft soundtrack, give it a 10. It was the second 10 I've given.
so
I'll read a little excerpt. Just read. Music is the most vital force in coercing feelings of nostalgia. There's no argument. Minecraft Volume Alpha by C418 is the most significant and emotionally potent embodiment of joyous memories from the past ever to grace this generation's ears. So that's a little intro to my Minecraft review.
yeah.
Yeah, great impressionistic, really minimal ambient album. Awesome. I recommended Leprosy by Death, which I told Zach to listen to and he didn't like it.
I don't like the guy. His voice was way too like raspy and like
Yeah.
metal, dude. It was like metal, bro.
Yeah, he's got that that's like classic death metal vocals from the late
It's
80s.
like
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
He's
everything, like, dude, the guitar and everything, like everything else. I was like, yeah, this
yeah.
is banger. Like, if they had
Mhm.
instrumental versions, I would listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you care for classic death metal, everyone knows this album. So yeah, I gave that one. I gave that an 8. Um Bell Witch, this is an interesting one. They're like a really it's called funeral doom metal. It's a genre of metal where everything is slow as fuck and the song is like an hour long. So if you can stand waiting that long, it's a cool experience. Some black metal, some folk from the 60s. So like yeah, I cover a lot of different stuff. So like if you're interested in a wide array of musical recommendations, if you want to expand your palette a little bit, give me a follow.
Good, check him out. Will you recommend? Oh, you just messed up my whole thing.
Oh, did I fuck it up? Oh no.
I don't.
Sorry.
It's gonna be. Oh god. Just
Can
share your
should
screen
I
real
put it
quick.
back up?
Yeah, just share your
Okay, hold
screen.
on. Go. All right.
All right, that's good enough. All right.
Okay.
So, will you recommend? Will you listen if I recommend like a game album, like game soundtrack? Or
Yeah.
you do
Hmm.
soundtracks?
I do soundtrack. I did Minecraft soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I feel like that's like a special case, but like, all right, I'll give you one. See, like, I'll give you like the best one I can find. It's like beautiful, like a beautiful soundtrack. I'll try and find that.
Okay. Yeah. If it's on the Rate Your Music website, I will cover it
All right,
if I
and
like it.
you can find me anywhere that's pen and pant. Most active on Twitter. Um, gonna hopefully if you caught up with the Let's Play for Fire Emblem at all.
Oh, geez, man. No, I have not. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I haven't been posting, so like I don't blame you.
Okay. I got time.
You
Okay.
got time. Like I still gotta play it. Like I really enjoy playing it, so I gotta get that back up. But
Yeah.
yep, I'm most active on Twitter and hopefully get that ball rolling. Get the new job out the way. Get that stress out of here before I
Yes.
start, playing again. But
Oh yeah.
I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Check out Of Synesthesia on rateyourmusic.com. Is it right? Is it rate my music or your music?
Rate your music.
Rateyourmusic.com. And I hope you guys have a good week, day,
Hell yeah.
hour, minute,
Bye.
second. Bye.